All right, good evening and welcome everybody to the Village of Weberville Council meeting. Today is November 11th, 2025. We'll start with a call to order and a roll call.
McEwen absent. Schoenborn. Here. Stanfield.
Here.
Walter. Here. Schulte.
Here. All right, everybody please stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there approval for this evening's agenda?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, first up, we have a public hearing. I recommend that we open the public hearing for the WDDA plan amendment at 6:02 p.m.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, at this point, we'll open up for public comment for the WDDA plan amendment. So we'll have regular public comment after this public hearing. So if there's any public comment that is specific to the WDDA plan amendment, the floor is open.
How you guys doing? Dan Martin, Oak Street here in Weberville. I'm a member of the DDA. Kind of wanted to come before the council tonight, and this amendment is a big deal. There's so many good changes happening in Weberville. Everything from the schools, to the roads, DPW's finally got somebody who's taking care of it, doing their job. Everything's looking nice around town. This is not just for the DDA. This is for the whole village. This is for everyone. This is for parking lot resurfacing, roads being taken care of. We actively help the village as much as we can. Kind of my big thing tonight is I just wanted to make sure that everybody realizes that this is not just the DDA. This is the community. This is our residents. We're here for you. You're here for us. We work great together. And that's about it. I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Is there any other public comment for the DDA plan amendment?
What is the plan amendment?
It's an annual plan amendment.
What are they amending?
Okay. Is there any other public comments? Not, I'm seeing none, so we'll close public comment at 6:04. I recommend that we close the public hearing for the WDDA plan amendment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. We'll carry on with our regularly scheduled agenda, which brings us to regular public comments. So at this point, if there's any public comment about anything, really anything. Yes, sir.
I would like to know what amendments they would like for the DDA to their plans. What are the amendments?
Thank you. Is there any other public comment this evening?
If I could.
Yes, sir.
I know Josh will be honest. We invite anyone in the public, absolutely come down to the DDA meetings. Come down, check them out, listen to them, see what we're doing, see the upgrades we're doing, what we're trying to do to help the village. We encourage it. If you get a chance, stop on by. That way we happily answer all your questions. I know I don't help you out tonight, but we happily answer any questions you guys have.
Thank you. If there's no other public comment, we'll close the public comment section at 6:05. Comments from the president, questions regarding the plan amendment. There is a new business item this evening where we'll be going over that for the WDDA plan amendment. I have no other comments at this time, so we'll move on to the consent agenda. So everybody had a chance to review the minutes from the council meeting on October 27th, the accounts payable, investment report, revenue expenditure report and balance sheet. Are there any questions on those items? If not, I recommend that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Benjamin absent. Schoenberg. Yes. Stanfield.
Yes.
Walter. Schulte.
Yes. Okay, that brings us to our monthly reports. So we will start out with the police report.
On October 3rd, Deputy Vincent received a phone call on the patrol phone reference to late larceny from a produce stand in the 4,000 block of Green River. It appeared the lockbox was partially pried open and an unknown amount of cash was taken. Deputy Vincent canvassed the area for cameras, but there were none that would have captured the incident. So that it was ultimately closed due to lack of investigative leads. On the 10th, Deputy Vincent was approached by a non-student juvenile at the Weberville High School homecoming regarding an adult getting in his face and yelling at him. Deputy Vincent spoke with both parties involved and determined that no assault had taken place and the incident was a verbal argument over a missing football. It was later discovered that the juvenile had left. Later after the juvenile had left, two students approached the principal and thought they'd witnessed a juvenile pull a knife during the argument. Deputy Vincent spoke to the adult involved in the incident, who advised that no knife was seen during the incident. On the 14th, I followed up with two students at the high school who believed they had witnessed a knife. One of the students advised that they had not seen the knife, and the other advised that they did, however, could not provide a description of where it had been pulled from. Ultimately, no assault occurred, no weapon was seen, and the incident was closed. On the 25th, Deputy Vincent was dispatched to Weberville for a late assault. It was later determined the incident had occurred in the 300 block of Walnut Street. Deputy Vincent interviewed the victim, developed a safety plan, transported the victim to an address unknown to the suspect, and called medics for an evaluation. The victim refused medics, advised they seek medical attention later. Deputy Vincent attempted to contact the suspect who answered his phone, but then immediately disconnected after discovering that the police were trying to contact him. The prosecutor's office currently has this case in front of them. We're waiting for a warrant to be authorized. This was a pretty significant assault, and the individual has a pretty lengthy criminal history, and so once that's authorized, we'll try to locate him. He needs to be in jail, so, and then attached are the monthly stats for you.
Thank you, Deputy. Is there any questions from the council on the police report? If not, move on to the DPW report.
Month of October, leaf season's in full swing. We've had a few breakdowns with the leaf vac, doing everything we can to keep that running. As always with potholes, if you have any, call or email or text, and we'll get on them as quick as we can. Lagoon discharge is ongoing. We discharged for the month of October already. So that's going well. Now we're into winter prep, getting all the equipment ready. We ended up not salting on this last snow event. We just didn't have enough in town to justify having salt out. We did do hydrant flushing already. So hopefully nobody had any dirty water complaints. I did most of them during the nighttime hours for less effect on homes, anything like that. Something that was brought to my attention, the road work out here on Grand River Avenue in front of Dollar General, that was performed by the Ingham County Road Commission, had nothing to do with us. I do have a call in to get the street sweeper back out to sweep up the excess gravel that was put down. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Ryan. Any questions from the council on the DPW report? See none, so we will move on to the clerk treasurer report.
Caitlin and I will be working on the village and DDA budget amendments to see where we stand currently for the halfway point of this fiscal year. At the capital area treasurer meeting, one of the things discussed in the program was the BSNA that everyone uses. While a date has not yet been set for when our current program will no longer be supported, it was recommended that we should begin preparing to transition to the BSNA cloud system over the next couple of years. I will continue monitoring updates, let everyone know when more information becomes available. We are planning on transitioning our monthly newsletter from print to a digital format to reduce costs and improve accessibility for residents. This change will not affect legally required public notices.
Thank you, Jessica. Any questions on the clerk treasurer report? Okay, WDDA report. Is there anything that you want to fill us in on, Josh, aside from what's on the agenda tonight?
Just that, obviously the Ford building is going, progressing, and obviously there is stuff on the agenda for us tonight. Plan amendment is obviously our legislative duty to, present to you guys what we're, spending money on and what we're doing. So, with that, the DDA plan is essentially what we're spending money on for the Ford building at this time.
Thank you, Josh. Any questions from council? See none, brings us to building and zoning report. We have Jim this evening.
Good evening. As far as building progress goes within the village, we're moving along pretty well. The Aldi's project has submitted their final plans for review. We're looking at a multi-million-dollar expansion and renovation inside the Aldi's building, along with some site work, parking lot work that's supposed to be taken care of. That's currently under review right now. MR Chartier has approached us to do some work across the street from their property. They own property on both sides of the street there, so they look to do some landscaping work, some berm work. We just got an inquiry regarding that upcoming project. As far as code enforcement goes, we really don't have anything urgent, some minor instances of some garbage and chairs and couches being left out. Our house that's been under construction for 7 or 8 years over on Chestnut, 323 Chestnut. I've been to court several times with that gentleman. The last time we were in court, he pled guilty. You're supposed to be having moving forward with the project. I issued him a warning that something doesn't happen, that we would be going to court again for a demolition order. The judge is very much in favor of that. As far as taking the house down, if he doesn't really start making some progress. I spoke to him Monday. He's remortgaged the home. He's getting funds. He's going to hire contractors now to do the work. We'll see how that goes. We had another instance within a house that was claiming to have squatters in it. We've had multiple calls on that particular home. Excuse me, I forgot the address. I don't know if Jessica remembers that one particular address or not, but the owner lives out of the area, but he's coming back this week. The tenants are supposed to be evicted this week, and he's going to clean up the house and get his rental certificate for that particular home. Black Oak's moving along very well. I found out a house there 2 weeks ago. They're still working on another home there that I expect to see completed before the end of the winter. And then we have our nice new project that's going to be starting on Main Street here that we'll be talking about a little bit later. So that's what I have for the building and code enforcement.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions from the council? See none? So brings us to the NISA report.
When we had our last meeting, we actually had it at the station right here in Weberville. And at that meeting, we recognized Anderson's as a valued partner to NISA, as well as JFE Ag Solutions. They both allow us to do training sessions on their property. So that makes them very valuable to us to be able to use their property and actually work on things that might happen. The EMT class that is currently in session has about 20 people, and a rural EMS grant of $25,000 was awarded to NISA to sponsor the students in this class. We had a SAFER grant award of 1.1 million approved by the board. So that will mean that we would actually have 2 full-time staff people at this station. Once the government, we can actually get that going, we'll have somebody full-time at the station, which is a good thing. And then the state of Michigan awarded a $16,000 grant for NISA's Fire Academy. So all good things. We're doing really good. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Sandra. It's all great news. Any questions from council? Okay, attorney reports.
Updates, had a phone conference last week with White Rose's attorney, Bob Baldori, also with Mr. Wright. Had conversation about the Court of Appeals matter and the current state of which White Rose does not have a certificate of occupancy. All of the issues concerned by myself and Mr. Wright were again conveyed to the new attorney, Bob Baldori, who promised that he is in fact going to go speak with his client and try to get this matter resolved. So stay tuned on that one. As far as the Court of Appeals goes, I checked the roster tonight, the register of actions. Nothing to report, no new news or directives from that court at this time regarding the original appeal. Easement regarding pharmacy, I emailed you, Mr. President, the revisions.
Yep.
So take a look at that. If you need any more changes, let me know. And that's all I have is just sounds like some ordinance language that's going to be coming up later on in the meeting. I might have some comments about. Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Scott. Any questions from council? All right, brings us to engineering reports. Bruce.
Yeah, so we received bids on the Main Street project a little earlier this evening, and we're gonna be taking those back and analyzing those, making sure all the paperwork is in order, and then hopefully we can come with a recommendation in 2 weeks to the council to award the contract.
We had 7 bids, which is a lot. That's good news. Anything else, Bruce?
I think that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for the engineering report? See none. Any advocate reports this evening? Okay, that brings us to new business, and item number 1 is the WDDA plan amendment. So, Josh, I don't know if you want to kick things off here.
That's just for the plan amendment? Is that what the?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, this is a procedural thing that we have to do, which is to explain to the village and taxpayers what we're spending money on. And again, that's we're spending more money on the Ford building. We had to up the amount that we're spending on that to cover all the costs and all the stuff. We are doing fire suppression on that building as well. So that's a huge amount of money as well, plus fixing a lot of the issues there. One being that there was that building surprisingly was never attached to the sewer, so it actually had a septic tank on it, which was a very big surprise to all of us. So we're just correcting some of these items and again, moving forward with making that a event center for the town.
Any questions, comments, discussion from council on this? Not seeing any, so recommend that we approve the WDDA plan amendment as
Yeah,
presented.
no, I got a question. You wanted originally 1.456 million. And now you want to up it to 2.2 million?
That is part of the bond proposal.
Okay,
The cost of the building is, with our plan amendment 1.4, the bond proposal, which we'll talk about shortly, we're asking for 2.2 because we're also adding in there, not just for the building, but we're adding in the Main Street project, which to assist the village in, also the 2 parking lots you guys are doing, we're gonna cover Summit Street parking and the post office parking lot. We'll all be included in that bond.
okay, and the parking lot across the street?
Yep.
That goes into it?
Yep.
Recommend that we approve the WDDA plan amendment as presented.
So moved.
Second.
And roll call, please.
Human absent. Schoenborg.
Yes.
Stanfield.
Yes.
Walter.
No.
Schulte.
Yes. Okay, motion passes. We will move on to the bond presentation and proposal, which is related to the WDDA plan amendment.
I'm gonna read this off. We do also have Andy, who is the municipal financial advisor, saying that right, as well as Matt, who is the GC on the core project. But I will start this off reading what I presented to the village council, just so the public is aware. We're seeking a bond proposal for 2.2 million. That would go out, it'd be probably between the 15 and 20 year ask to extend out that the DDA would actually be covering the payment on. I'll just read what I prepared. Today, DDA board is asking for the village to help us go out for a bond. This bond is a great opportunity to accomplish multiple downtown redevelopments while at the same time creating a vehicle for growth and economic growth in our downtown. It will not affect the village's ability to go out to bond in the future and actually will help them do so. A little history of the DDA is in 1970, the Michigan legislation saw that downtown districts were failing and created the TIFA DDA legislation. That allows the property tax capture for a certain area that remains in that area. In Waverville, the village council at that time was one of the few around Michigan that created their DDA shortly after legislation was passed. They had the great foresight to position Waverville to be able to retain these funds instead of sending them to Lansing. With the thought to revitalize and support our downtown. Through their efforts, Waverville was able to survive, and it has also allowed the DDA to build out the business park, which led to many businesses choosing Waverville as their home, which in turn their employees and other businesses began to follow, including Aldi. For a long time, the DDA focus was on the business park, and it left the downtown to fend for itself. When I took the helm of the DDA, it had just undertaken the downtown streetscape, which is a great addition to our downtown, but it put the DDA financially in a tough spot. Over the past decade, we have worked hard to be frugal, save, and ensure we tackle projects that would have a lasting impact on the community, as well as repair some missteps from previous decisions. All that being said, today the DDA is very healthy and generates a good income, and comparable to other smaller communities, it actually has a healthy revenue, mainly because the Waverville DDA was formed so early on. Now it's time for us to focus on downtown, as our population in Waverville is one of the few communities in Ingham County that has seen population growth. Let's embrace it and push forward. The proposed projects with this bond, the DDA hopes to accomplish multiple projects, creating beautification of the downtown while also creating an opportunity for economic growth. First up is the Main Street South, which will be assisting the village council to repair, repave Main Street from Grand River to Chestnut. The next project is Main Street Parking Lot North. Assist the village council to repair, repave, curb, and stripe the parking lot while also fixing the storm drain in the parking lot. The next one is Main Street Parking Lot South, which is right out here. Assist the village council to repair, repave, and curb and stripe that parking lot while they replace the water main located under this lot. Next one is Summit Street parking lot. This parking lot has been an eyesore for over 20 years. Located next to the post office, we will be building a brand new 14, 16 spot parking lot that will be illuminated and serve the downtown. Summit Street, repaving Summit Street North and ran over to the alley, adding additional 6 to 10 angled parking on the east side of the street and fixing deteriorating sidewalks. The Ford Building, restoring and developing the Ford Building located at 124 West Grand River. This building will be turned into an event center, which will create much needed economic and foot traffic to the downtown. All of these projects will bring a huge revitalization to our downtown and create an economic increase for decades to come, as well as the two biggest eyesores in Waterville for the past 20 years will become the stars of our town and show the progress and charm of the rural town that it has to offer. The Ford Building will be, when DDA purchased the Ford Building, it has seen decades of neglect. The roof structure was about to cave in. DDA had the roof structure completely fixed and a new roof put on the building. The structural engineer at the time had indicated if we had not have repaired the roof, it would have collapsed within 2 to 3 years. With Ford Building being the largest single-story commercial building in the downtown at 6,000 square feet, this would have been devastating to the downtown, as most developers would not rebuild a $4 to $5 million building in our small town. Since DDA also had new windows put in, that were the same size and historically correct to the originals, and also had that supporting structure above the windows repaired as well. The masons that worked on the brick restoration and repair had pointed out that the face of the building was about to fall off. Repairing and restoring that was not only a structural and cosmetic necessity, but a public safety issue. The next prize, finding a septic tank on the property that was still connected and in use, something not a single person could have ever guessed. We are confident all these great prizes have been found and have started renovations. The Ford Building, when it was purchased, we had imagined and marketed it to a ton of groups, including brewery associations, restaurant associations, retail associations, and list goes on. Even with us planning to redevelop the building, no one was willing to risk putting their name on the building because they only looked at the demographics. No matter how much I pleaded with them and used my best sales approach, they only viewed the direct population of Waterville and would not consider the surrounding areas. This put us in a spot, and we quickly came up with a plan. After seeing firsthand a few event venues revitalizing small downtowns, we started to approach this as a reality. And the more research, the more we realized that this wasn't just going to be a direct rental income approach, but an approach that would also give Waterville one thing it tends to lack: foot traffic. The Ford Building will hold 166 people in the event space. We believe it has the potential to create additional income for the town, with a majority coming from out of the area, which also brings patrons to our downtown. The building will host weddings on Friday and Saturdays, and possibly Sundays, while also being available during the week for community organizations and rental space for the community. We also continue to pursue the possibility that the Williamson Farmers Market could utilize the building during the winter as well and host their Sunday Farmers Market in Waterville. We also plan to have a Christmas tree lighting ceremony and other events throughout the year in this building to again provide a community engagement and continue to bring people to our downtown. The first year, currently we're projecting the first year of the Ford Building will host about 20 weddings at that time. We are thinking rental for the building for the day night will be about $4,000, which is a low comparable to surrounding event spaces within 30 miles. This will position the building to attract more weddings and events. The first year, just on weddings, we predict generating around $80,000 in revenue. Second year, as marketing goes out, word of mouth spreads, we predict the building will host about 30 weddings and will generate about $120,000 in revenue. Third year and beyond, talking with all other local venues, we believe the Ford Building will max out around 40 to 50 events a year. This will bring in the possibility of $160,000 to $200,000 a year in additional revenue. This revenue should grow with inflation and continue to compound as the Ford Building becomes a prominent venue. Again, this creates additional revenue for our town while giving it the foot traffic to continue to support our local businesses in downtown. The rental income will be able to be used to help repave roads, improve infrastructure, and help provide much-needed services to our town. All that being said, rental income is nice, but let's also look at another important metric, which is the local economic impact. We believe the Ford building will generate locally to our downtown and small business an additional $500 to $5,000 per event. This includes selling of food, beverages, goods, and services. We have between 75 to 300 additional people to visit our small town from all over the state on a weekly basis, solving our traffic problems with hopes that it will continue to promote growth. We encourage events to embrace and utilize our great local businesses and provide them with a packet of those great businesses. I'm sure there's questions, and this is just a brief overview, but this bond will allow a huge improvement to our downtown, which will create a spark to ignite our downtown and to continue growth while keeping our rural charm. We can only do this with support of the Village Council and the great residents of Westmore.
Thank you, Josh. Very well said. Josh's last point, are there any questions from the council on the bond proposal or anything related?
How long is the bond proposal for?
Depending on the length, between 15 and 20 years, I think is what we're looking at.
15 and 20?
Yeah, 15 to 20. It depends on what the payment comes out to and how much, between all the different stuff, how much that comes out to. Because DDA would prefer to keep a lot of its revenue, like a lot of its cash, in order to continue to help the village as much as we can and do other projects, including the bridge building.
And that's the 2.2 million?
Yeah,
Up to. That doesn't mean that the full amount would be borrowed, but that's the amount that would be available. The potential earliest payoff is 10 years.
that'd be Andy's.
You want to?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Sure.
Somewhere between 5 and 10 would be the earliest prepayment.
Okay.
So, my name is Andy Campbell with Benzinski & Company. We're municipal financial advisors. We fill the role as an independent advisor. We're not contracted to banks or brokers. We are independently contracted with the village to provide independent advice on how to get the cheapest money. So we work with about 500 communities in the state of Michigan. Locally, we work with Williamston, Howell, Handy Township, Mason, Delhi Township, lots of different communities around here, Stockbridge. We help you with all the financing. So Steve Mann from Miller Canfield works on the bond side, and in terms of the legal side, we help you on the finance side, structure the financing, do the documentation for it, sell it, make sure that it's the DDA is sound financially in terms of the millages that are backing it. I think that's mostly it. We're gonna kind of talk through the bond timing. We're gonna most likely sell in early January if everything is approved, and close in late January, based on the timing of just, it's not really good to sell around the holidays if you can avoid it. So we kind of get everything prepared in the next couple months and then sell everything in January after the turn of the year. Happy to answer any of the questions though.
I don't believe I have any questions.
No.
Okay. Well, with all of that said, I recommend that we approve resolution 2025-13 declaring intent to reimburse from bond proceeds.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
McKee absent. Schoenberg.
Yes.
Stanford.
Yes.
Baldridge.
No.
Schulte.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. This brings us to new business item number 3. This was requested last meeting by trustee McEwen, discussion about Johnny Gringo's temporary certificate of occupancy. We all have been discussing this over the past year. few meetings ago that the owner of the business was here and agreed to installing the fence and paving of the parking lot. And the fencing has not been completed per the extended timeline that the council voted to grant. And they did pull a permit for the fence, but have not paid for it. Is that correct?
Yeah, just the basic outline has been
Yes.
put up and that's it.
And I don't believe that those post holes were ever inspected because they were installed without a permit. So council has a difficult decision to make as to whether or not we continue granting extensions or if the council wants to pull a temporary certificate of occupancy for violating the agreements that have been made. Anyone?
It's a really difficult decision because you never want to take someone's livelihood away from them. Our village always wants to welcome businesses, always. But we started this out with a welcoming hand and the understanding that they would complete what they said they would.
And then we
And
extended
that's
it.
where I was going. And then we extended it. And now here we are again. So this is a very difficult decision.
Same Jim has
Jim.
something to say.
Oh, sorry, Jim, yeah.
I'd like to, I have the certificate of occupancy right here, and I'd like to read to you what we agreed on for him at the time of issuance. Temporary certificate of occupancy with these conditions: parking lot to be repaved along with rear driveway and striping of 9 parking spaces with a barrier-free parking space by October 1st, 2025. A 6-foot privacy fence to be installed along south property line by July 1st, 2025. The gravel area west of the building to be landscaped with grass aside by July 1st, 2025. And code-required restroom signage was to take care of. So those were the dates that was agreed upon by the council with the owner
And then
at
he
the
came
time
back
of
and
issuance of the
We
CFO.
extended it
Yeah, I believe we extended the parking lot to
and the fence.
October of 26, I believe,
Mhm.
and the fence to
October
October of
This
this year.
year.
Well, does anybody want a motion to, or I should ask Jim, are you prepared, as our code enforcement officer, prepared and to enforce, I guess, the violation of the agreement and revoke that CO?
That would be handled as the building official through the building code. I would revoke a certificate of occupancy for non-compliance with law position. It probably involves some legal aspects in the court eventually. There'll be some cost involved with that, but I would be able to proceed forward with that.
Okay. Scott, do you have any input here from legal?
The only thing that comes to mind at the moment is I think we have to give, if the council's so inclined to revoke the certificate of occupancy, we do have to give fair notice to this individual that the occupancy is going to cease. I would suggest just given the amount of time that we've given, we probably give him 30 days, like it's coming to an end. So he can make arrangements in a fair fashion.
Okay.
Unless there's something contrary.
Can we give them one more shot at this? Give them one January
Sure.
and say either do this or this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly an option on the table.
He's got his business going. He does have
How many more
customers.
chances do you want to give somebody
Well-
when they've already by themselves came in here and said that if he does not do what he or what we suggested timeline-wise that
I
we
agree,
are.
I agree with that, but this is the guy's livelihood. I mean, we're stuck, kind of, sort of.
And then there's the issue too of the handicap. There's nothing up for the handicap parking and that little lip still, you know, when you go up.
That wasn't part of the agreement, was it? The handicap ramp?
He was supposed to take care of the handicap area. That was gonna be all taken care of when we repaved that parking lot, including the areas where the dumpster enclosure was at. He was supposed to take care of that one. You know, it was agreed upon that initially we'll just let him do the gravel that he did. But then initially you're supposed to have it, like I said, October of 2025, we're supposed to have it done. Council extended it to October 2026. All that was supposed to be part of the site improvements, they're supposed to do that.
Right.
I will mention, and I just mentioned it, because the council was giving him a date of October 2026, it'd be kind of difficult from a legal standpoint to revoke anything right now, even though he's not in compliance with the fence, but he kind of is. You know, he's made an attempt for it, so it's kind of difficult for us to go to the judge and say we want to revoke this, see revoke this is not in compliance, when he still has another year to come into compliance.
Right. Fair point. Yeah, but progress has been made, albeit not the correct way.
Can we send maybe a letter of notice that dates have not been adhered to?
That's the friendly reminder.
That's what I was calling, friendly reminder that, you know, while this is, you know, November, you know, you have your deadlines coming up and you agreed to this, and we're not trying to take your livelihood away. We would just like to remind you that these things need to be done prior to this date. And we're really trying to work with you.
Scott, is that something you could maybe help us with? A strongly worded
Certainly.
reminder that he's out of compliance right now?
We could do that, and it's well within your right, I think, from the previous conversations, even that demand that he come to the next council meeting. I mean,
Right.
it's,
Now, I don't know, I mean, I don't know if it's more appropriate coming from you or Jim as building enforcement, but.
well, either or, I think, for the fact that I can't remember if Jim was here, obviously Jim's very much up to speed with this. I was here at that meeting where he pledged those dates, and so,
Yep.
I don't have a problem writing it to him and saying, as far as I'm concerned, although Jim made a good point about the parking lot date is in 2026, my argument, if I had to go in front of a judge today, would be that for the fact that the October 2025 has not been met, the fence avoids everything. And yeah, their counter argument may say, well, the final goalpost is October 2026. I'm just kind of highlighting some of the arguments that are gonna come out, but I think if you give him a letter reaffirming the dates, that he's out of compliance, and that we need to see some action now. Because that's always gonna bode well if it does come to a legal action. We can show the courts, look, we kept in communication, we kept trying to get things in compliance, and it wasn't on our end for not trying, so. Okay. So I can write a letter, send it out.
I think at this point, that's probably the best course of action.
Well,
Yeah.
so just to clean things up, I would recommend that we approve authorizing our attorney and building code enforcement to work together to send a letter to Johnny Gringos informing them of their non-compliance status, requesting further progress in compliance.
So,
Second.
Do roll call?
Schoenberg,
Yes.
Stanfield,
yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Schultz.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Next on the agenda is the proposed 425 agreement with Leroy Township for the truck stop. So at the last meeting, this topic was brought up, as well as a draft 425 agreement. So we decided to table this discussion and any sort of vote to give the council more time to review for any needed changes, additions, amendments. So any questions from the past 2 weeks of reviewing that? Anything we'd like to see different? Seeing no questions, hearing none. So I'll recommend that we approve the proposed 425 agreement with Leeward Township for the proposed truck stop as presented.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Human absent. Schoenborn,
Yes.
Stanfield,
Yes.
Walter,
No.
Schulte.
Yes. Okay, I will send that over to Earl, Township Supervisor, for the review. I fully expect their legal team and their counsel to review it and potentially bring back proposed changes and revisions, so we'll see what happens. Next is the AEDs. This was also tabled from last meeting. I believe we were looking to get more quotes for that. Did we get those in? Or no, we had a question about the NISA service on those, right?
The
Yes,
warranty.
and, I have not gotten an answer on that, and then Deb also just gave me another,
Lifeback.net.
yes, lifeback.net that I will have to check on.
LIFEBAC.net.
Okay.
And it's the new device, which I recommend if we're gonna have people renting our area and we're gonna have food here and if somebody chokes, they just apply the device, pump, and it pulls it out. You don't have to do the Heimlich,
I've seen those.
yeah, they're like $70,
Mhm.
well worth it.
Yep.
And they do it from infants to adults.
Just one device.
Pardon?
Just one device, not different.
One
sizes.
device. One device does it all.
And they can save money.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
I'll bring that to the next meeting.
Okay.
So are we tabling this yet again?
Yeah, I will have an answer for you by the next meeting.
Thank you. So recommend that we table the AED discussion until our next meeting.
So move it 22nd,
Or
24th.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Or no.
Lana did.
Yeah, Lana second.
Second, yeah.
CPR first aid discussion, also tabled from last meeting. I think this is where we were looking at other quotes. Or see who was interested. Yes, sorry. So Ryan, did you get a head count from your crew? This 2? And how many council members?
We just have to renew ours.
Right.
2 renewals. Deborah, were you interested?
Yeah, no, we'll save the taxpayers some money. It would just be a refresher course for me and everybody else is gonna have it.
Okay.
I feel safe.
So that's 2 plus 2, that's 4, and just 1 from the office, so 5. Right? So I would recommend that we approve the CPR first aid class for 3 village employees and 2 village council members.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Schoenborn,
Yes.
Stanfield,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Schulte.
Yes. All right, brings us to item number 7. I believe it's time to set our schedule for 2026, but here we are. Jessica did a great job outlining dates for village council as well as the WDDA schedule. Structured very similar to what we did this year. So our regular large meetings with monthly reports will continue to be on the second Tuesday of every month, and our regular meetings without monthly reports will be on the fourth Monday of every month. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, any questions, comments, or concerns about the proposed? Then I would recommend that we approve the schedule for 2026 as presented.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Item number 8, we need to schedule a public hearing for the water service line requirements. So this came up as a result of some new development work that's been going on in town. And under our current ordinance, there's a requirement to be part of the village infrastructure for water and sewer. However, with this particular piece of property, there's not really a feasible way to connect into the city water system. There is for the sewer, but not for the water. So the owners of that would prefer to drill their own well. After reviewing with Ryan, we are in agreement with that it's feasible, but by our ordinance written today does not allow for that. So we need to amending that in ordinance, which requires scheduling public hearings. So I don't know if Ryan is DPW director, supervisor, if you want to comment any further on the infrastructure portion of that.
So this property is on North Main Street, one of the lots that we talked about earlier this year. And we kind of have a weird situation with our sanitary sewer up there. Is actually behind the houses along Pardee Road for a stretch east and west of Main Street. So this property that we are discussing, the sanitary sewer runs right along their south property line. So they can hook into our sanitary sewer very easily. But we do not have water up there. Our water main stops at Pardee Road. It does not continue north on North Main Street. So all the houses up there, they have their own wells, they have their own septic systems. This house will hook to our sewer, but it would be best for them to drill their own well. Our ordinance does state within 320 feet. I think it was a little over 200 from our existing water main to their property edge. But the problem is it would have to cross another private property to get there. So that opens up some other issues as well. With that distance, you have to upsize your water line a little bit. My concern is with only one house being on it, they may get dirty water complaints quite often because they're just not going to flow enough water to keep it clean. It's not financially feasible for the village to put in a water main because we don't have enough water up there to expand north to the dead end of North Main Street because we only have 6-inch water mains that serve the north side of town. So I don't foresee anytime in the near future us expanding our water main north of Pardee Road where houses already have wells. I don't know of any other building sites. So talking with the developers, the homeowners, and with Ingham County Health Department, they were on site last week to look at the well. I don't know if they've approved it yet.
They have.
Okay, yeah, I meant to reach out today and I did forget. So Ingham County Health Department has no issues with the well going in up there as well. There are homes, including the DPW facility, that are on private wells that are also hooked to the sanitary sewer. A lot of people don't know that. The DPW has its own well, but it is hooked to the village sewer system, along with the houses around the DPW facility on Pardee Road. So this is not going to create a unique situation. It's something we already do. It's just that 320 feet wording just really doesn't make any sense. The village is pretty much built out already. We don't really have any building sites left that are not served by water already. So it would just be in everybody's best interest. Let's get this changed. That way they can get their house done. It's not hurting the village. It's not putting a financial burden or stress on us. And at the end of the day, everybody's just gonna be much more happier.
Thank you, Ryan. Jacob, do you want to speak on the proposed changes? I know we're just here to vote on setting a public hearing, but this language is obviously subject to change pending review between now and choosing to adopt it, but if you want to brief us, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, sure. So this is an amendment to section 52.10A. This would essentially allow the village council to grant a waiver for two reasons. One, that construction would create a maintenance issue or be overly difficult and unreasonably expensive and or impractical for the village to connect. It would also allow a waiver based on incurring excessive costs to the taxpayers, the residents of the community. That's really it. It's two sentences added, so.
Right.
While this has been drafted as requested, we do recommend consulting with legal and possibly consulting with the Michigan Rural Water Association. We do have concerns just on the village's potential ability for future bonds if you have language carving out exceptions. These are things that should be considered prior to approving and adopting this. So just so we're all on the same page.
Okay. Any questions for either Jacob or Ryan or myself on this? Okay.
Mr. President, real quick,
Yes,
is there any bonds on the water infrastructure now?
I believe so.
Okay.
Ryan, is that? No, there are not, correct? I didn't think so.
And the reason I ask is because oftentimes with bonds come contracts, and if the bond was given, you have to live and abide by those terms. Whereas this may alter, maybe not for this particular person or this particular property, but it puts question into what you agreed to on the bond and what you're doing into the future.
Sure.
So that's all.
Okay. Well, certainly a little bit of homework to do between now and then, and just so for everybody's reference, we would be setting a public hearing for our next meeting. Not the next meeting, would be the meeting on December 9th, so we can meet our requirements for public notice. And then if that is voted and approved upon, that takes effect how many days after? Is it immediate?
I think they have to publish it again, it's like 15 days after publication.
Yeah, so about 10 days after publication, so
At the end of September.
end of December would be the timeline, just for everyone's reference, but unless there's any more discussion on this, I would recommend that we approve scheduling the public hearing for the water service line requirements on December 9th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Schoenborn,
Yes.
Stanfield,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Schulte.
Yes. Thank you. So we will round things out here. Our last piece of new business, the event permit for the Christmas parade. So we do this every year. Folks really seem to like this event. I see no reason why we shouldn't continue it. It will be structured very similar to last year, where it would be from the high school down Grand River to South Summit Street and west on Walnut, ending at the NISA Station 62. This would be on December 13th, 2025, with the event beginning at 6:30. Setup starts at 6. And this will be for the annual parade as well as the tree lighting downtown. DPW will provide barricades. Any questions about the holiday parade here? If not, I recommend that we approve the event permit for the Christmas parade on December 13th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All opposed? Okay, that brings us to the end of our new business, which brings us to our second public comment section. So if anybody has any public comments?
John Leonard, Mr. President, I came last meeting and you were considering the proposal for the township of 425 proposal agreement. And the question I had for you at the time was, what was the agreement going to cost the village? And you said it was a 1 mil potential, 1 mil for 50 years. That is what I understood to be the agreement proposal. Okay, so I'm asking tonight, because I wasn't able to get an answer. At the last meeting, you were not aware of what it would cost the village. That's a 1 mil proposal for 50 years. I would ask again, is that amount available? And if that amount isn't available tonight, I just kind of question as to why this was approved tonight for the council to accept this proposal for 425 with the township, 1 mil for 50 years. And if you don't have this amount, I just kind of wonder why this was approved without knowledge of the council or anybody else knowing what this is going to cost. So again, I bring up that issue again. I would like to know what this 1 mil for 50 years is going to be approximately. It's going to be the responsibility of the village. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment this evening? Sir.
Yeah. Darren Tanner, DG Tanner Builders. I just want to first thank the village for hearing the matter concerning the water on North Main. Additionally, I just throw this out there. I'm part of the planning commission in Eaton Rapids, and to see all the work that you guys are doing here in Weberville is very similar to what we do there. And it's very neat to see. So I thank you for that as well. Lastly, Jim and Ryan, thank you both for working with us and working through this matter for the water. And I know there's still more to do, but I just want to extend my appreciation to that. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other public comment this evening? Yes, sir.
I have two questions. How long is the sidewalk gonna be fenced off with a pile of gravel on Summit Street? And my next question is, the Ford building, when it's done, will have a capacity of 160? Where in the hell are people gonna park? If you get 2 people per car showing up, that's 80 cars. That 14 or 15 car parking lot's just not gonna cover it. Where are you expecting people to park for this building? That's it.
Thank you.
Real quick,
Yes, sir.
because of this being broadcast, it's gonna be the largest audience I'm gonna have. Again, I'm Dan Norton, I'm the DDA, I live here on Oak Street. I am working on getting a new Veterans Memorial. It'll be located right here next to Lloyd Drive, Lloyd Lane. Anyone who is interested in helping me, make phone calls, because it's been a little bit of a struggle. I am ex-military, I know the people to deal with, but it's been a nightmare, and then when the government shut down, it's been impossible. So anybody in here, anybody watching, who would like to get involved, please get a hold of me. I appreciate that.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, we'll close public comment at 7:05. For the president's comments, questions about the value of the 425 agreement. I can't tell what the taxable value is going to be ahead of time. I mean, all of the property taxes are based on taxable value, which is anybody's best guess, really. So 1 mil, share out of 13.2, it is essentially what it is. I'm unaware of any gravel that's on the sidewalk at Summit Street, but we'll work with our DPW to figure out what's going on there. And then with the parking question, we are working very diligently to revitalize numerous parking areas in town, including The lot near the pharmacy, which if I had to guess, could potentially hold at least 40 or 45 vehicles. There's the lot next to the party store, which could probably hold 20 or 25 vehicles, with the addition of the Summit Street lot being 14 to 16, plus all the parking downtown, as well as the potential to use private parking, such as the parking lot in the Summit Street shop building. The owner has expressed interest in allowing use for that for events. I've heard it said before, and I agree with it. If we have a parking problem in town, that's the best thing we could ever ask for. It means that we're bringing people in, which is what we're supposed to do. So that said, I have no further comments, and I'll open it up for comments from the council.
No.
Seeing none, that brings us to the end. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn at 7:07 PM.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you all for coming.